life. We pray that you would give us the blessing of fellowship with one another. Be with the drivers and with their crews, and keep them safe at this time. And be with troops around the world of every stripe and color that fight for freedom. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem from Orlando, Florida, please welcome Gina Marie Incandela.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the brave.
You're watching NASCAR live on FS1 from Daytona International Speedway. He won this race last year. He won the Xfinity Championship. It was the closest finish in the history of this sport. Tyler Reddick is ready to go, and so are we from the World Center of Racing. 300 miles, 120 laps at Daytona International Speedway. Thanks for watching the pre-race show. Michael's worked his way up to the booth with the gang to call the race. Jamie McMurray, Chris Mars. Hey, this was fun. By the way, good luck tomorrow in your final Cup race.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Excited about it.
I appreciate it. And we're glad to have you on our team. Let's go to the team that's calling the race today. Adam, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Chris. I'm up here with Daytona royalty. Michael Waltrip won the 500 2001, 2003. Joey Logano pulled it off 4 years ago, starts fourth here tomorrow. For a driver, race day at Daytona means what?
Oh, it's everything. You know, Daytona, I always say if you want a tricycle race at Daytona, it's a big deal. When you walk into the garage area or drive through the tunnel and you see the stadium here and you look at the front straightaway, you know how big of a deal it is to win.
And that trophy, man, you take that baby home and you cherish it. Walk by it every day and think about how special it is to win on NASCAR's biggest stage. We've both been honored to do just that. I can't wait to see who pulls it off today.
And the biggest name in the history of Daytona, no doubt, is Earnhardt. And we've got an Earnhardt on the front row this afternoon. It should be spectacular. Oh, by the way, Team Penske looking for their first win here. Is Brad Keselowski the guy to beat?
I think so. You know, when it comes to experience and knowing how to work the draft, I don't think there's a better driver in his field today than Brad. But with that being said, it's super speedway racing. We've seen how these Xfinity races go. Anything can happen. Expect some crashes at some point. You just hope to avoid them.
And you know what I can't pick? I really can't pick a favorite. Yeah, Brad's great, but what about Chase Elliott? And could Tyler Reddick do it again in 2019?
Yeah, of course, Reddick coming from the back. How many trucks finished that race last night?
9.
We had
Only
12
9.
cautions last year. Let's not have that again. Here's the command.
For the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome our Grand Marshal, VIP partner of NASCAR Racing Experience, Drew Patey.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines have fired. The off-season is over. The green flag is next. As we go to break, these drivers, they've got Daytona on their mind.
First thing that came to my mind whenever I thought of Daytona would be just the history that my family has here and all the wins and what they were able to accomplish racing here.
Pinnacle of all things NASCAR. A lot of histories here at this racetrack, whether it was on the beaches or the high banks that we race on every day.
For me, it was time with my dad. You know, my dad serviced the tires for a lot of the racing series that raced with NASCAR. And so I was going to the racetrack at a really early age, and it's created something in me that I'll never forget.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear. The camera's here and the microphones, and they wanna know if you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have
Gorgeous day in Central Florida. It's time for the season opener in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Let's get 2019 underway. And as the cars roll off the grid, here's a reminder of the favorite this season. I think without a doubt it's Christopher Bell. He won 7 times last year as a rookie, made it to the championship 4. In the offseason, he won the Chili Bowl for a 3rd consecutive time. And he was doing it off track as well, getting engaged to longtime girlfriend Morgan. Christopher Bell, so solid, starts 11th today. Let's go from the driver's seat with driver 20.
See if we can get a word with them. Hey, Christopher Bell, it's Michael Waltrip and the boys up in the Fox booth. Do you copy?
I got you.
Well, you look calm, collected, and ready. I saw your car making some great moves yesterday in practice. Do you think you've got the machine to win this race today?
Yeah, I think I definitely got the car to win it. This Dream Supra has been really good, and it's been fun to finally drive a Supra. So I think we've got a piece that can contend for the win. Hopefully I can make some moves and get up there.
Do you expect to see 3-wide racing today? The practices looked crazy yesterday.
Yeah, it's been pretty funny. You know, the Cup deal and the Truck deal were pretty much polar opposites. And with the Xfinity lineup that we have with all these young drivers, I would expect that this race will probably look a little bit more like the Truck race last night.
Well, this is a Logano up here, man. It's been fun to watch. Chili Bowl was a lot of fun to watch you make that last lap pass. You probably may have to make a last lap pass here again, or at least make a big block. So it's going to be fun to watch. Good luck out there.
Yeah, maybe you'll listen in and give me some pointers for the end of this deal.
I don't know about that, but good luck.
Well, he went to Joey Logano for the pointers, Adam. Just glossed right over me.
Well, he's trying to get Joe Gibbs Racing their 5th win here. Logano's got one of those victories coming in the summertime, handful of years ago. Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Win your battles, earn your name. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Qualifying earlier today, Tyler Reddick qualified on the pole, but will have to start from the rear with a tire change. Let's hear from our pit reporters as we anticipate the green flag, and we start 2019 off with Jamie Little. Good afternoon, Jamie.
Good afternoon, Adam. Great to be back as always. And you know, the feel-good story of the day so far is Jeffrey Earnhardt. He's a 4th-generation driver. He's the grandson of Dale Earnhardt. He's the nephew of Dale Earnhardt Jr. He put this deal together all by himself. He'll run 9 races for Gibbs, and he told me this is by far the best opportunity he's had in his career, and it showed in qualifying, qualified up front on the front row. He hopes to end this day in victory lane like his dad and his grandfather and his uncle did 13 times before. Matt?
Jamie Earnhardt's teammate Brandon Jones starts on the outside of row 8. Now, Brandon's paired up with Jeff Mannering this year. Not a lot of time working together, so they went to the TRD simulator, simulated a number of different tests at Atlanta, Phoenix, and Las Vegas, just trying to work on driver crew chief communications and what that would entail. Now, this is Daytona. It's all about the driver and the spotter. He's done well at Talladega. He almost won, finishing 2nd last year. Regan Smith.
Well, Matt, as Adam just documented, our 2018 Series champion Tyler Reddick won the pole, picking up right where he left off last year at Homestead. That's the good news. The bad news is he had a flat left rear tire. He's going to have to go to the back to start the race today. The even better news from that, though, is that he's not going to be alone back there. With him in the back is going to be the 00 of Cole Custer, our runner-up for the championship last year, who had to change a motor pre-race and will be starting from the back as well.
You know what a lot of NASCAR fans tell me, Joey? Why do y'all start the fastest car in the front? Make you go to the back. It'll be more fun. They're getting their wish here today.
They're getting part of that. I mean, you got to have a reason to qualify, right? And the fastest car is to start up front. But, you know, the thing is about super speedway racing, yeah, it helps to start towards the front. It might be a little safer, but it almost doesn't matter. You never know what's going to happen.
Our race analysis today, 300 miles. That's 120 laps here at Daytona International Speedway. The length of stage 1 and stage 2, 30 laps. Then it's a 60-lap run to end it. Pit road speed 55 miles per hour. And you saw the pit window there in the mid-40s. Likely you just wait till the end of stage 1 and stage 2 to get those first 2 pit stops out of the way. Then you got to manage that strategy in the final stage.
Yeah, and I think it's also important if you're in the back and there's a caution, maybe you switch things up. Come to pit road a little bit early, fill up with fuel, make it all the way to end stage 2 before you pit again. Joe Gibbs looking on, as you see to the bottom of the racetrack. Reddick is dropping all the way to the back because of that tire change during qualifying.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you see the first few laps, you see Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick. They're starting way in the back. They might just kind of see how the field's going for a minute. Just see, if anyone's making aggressive moves, and just kind of hold on, maybe grab a couple spots, and then wait when they, see it kind of calm down. Then they might start to make their move up there. Because the last thing you want to do is start in the back and then caught up in a crash. You never even get to the first stage to score any points at all. So it's about that patience. But at some point, you're going to have to be aggressive to get up there.
And I love your opinion on this. I want to know what you think. How do you balance that laying back, making sure you're conservative a bit, but then you have to go get stage points? How do you balance that delicate line?
Yeah, it's tough. It's really hard. There's times that you're watching the cars 3 wide making aggressive blocks. You say, okay, you guys have fun. Maybe later on I'll get into that. So you just got to pay attention to what's going on in front of you.
So many thoughts between qualifying and the race. Here are drivers weighing in on social media via our Procast earlier today.
Hey guys, Justin Haley here. We just got done qualifying at Daytona International Speedway. First time in the Xfinity car for colleague racing, and we qualified 4th.
We may have gotten the pole today. My first start for RCR, which is really cool in our pinnacle financial partners, Chevy Camaro SS. But fortunately, we had a flat tire while we were out there making our qualifying effort. So we may have gotten the pole. We're going all the way to the back of the field today.
Drivers have been given the 1-to-go signal, making their way down the back straightaway. Pins and needles right now as you anticipate the green flag at this place?
Well, I think at this point you're kind of running through the race in your mind. You may be communicating to your spotter one more time, reminding him what you need to hear from him. Looking at where cars are around you, making sure you know what clear looks like in your mirror, because you're going to have to make some last-minute blocks at some point, and you want to make sure you're precise. You don't want something like the truck race last night. You want to be the one that doesn't cause the crash. So, but you're going to have to be aggressive to be up front. So you just want to make sure you're smart and you're going through all that right now in your mind.
Wind and sunshine, what will that do to upset the apple cart of these race cars?
Well, I think the wind plays some effect, but you're in such a draft that sometimes you don't really feel the effect of the wind with all those cars around you, but the temperature will definitely play an effect. As these tires wear out, I was talking to Brad Keselowski earlier that these Xfinity cars were harder to drive than the Cup cars. And when you tell me that on a hot day, look for some slipping and sliding, and maybe tires will mean more than they have in the past, and that may change the strategy up quite a bit.
Tyler Reddick drops to the rear. Michael Lynette joins Jeffrey Earnhardt on the front row. Row 2, best career qualifying effort for Greg Gaulding and the rookie Justin Haley. Elliott Chastain, row 3. We are green to open 2019 at Daytona.
Right in line, all in line. Splitting you by a quarter of a car. Right on your bumper, pushing you inside 1. Still right on, inside. Still inside. You guys have the run. 10 is with you, you're clear, your helper's not. Don't hang the 10 here. Run is your lane. You're running your tracks. Right in line with you, got a gap of half, he's turning a quarter lower than you. Right in line here, right in the middle lane at the top. Right back there though. All clear, looking low inside, you got help though.
And there you hear the spotters how important that is. They're not really telling them whether you're clear or not. They're telling you where the run's coming from and trying to paint that picture of what's going on behind you and helping you get those runs and those pushes to make sure you make the best decisions inside the car.
Check out that onboard. We're on the helmet of Chase Briscoe, and you're really going to get a feel of what it's like to be driving this race car as he pulls right up on the back of Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano's teammate. And Joey, what I was going to ask you, is that the constant chatter for 300 miles? Are you constantly being told what's going on around you?
Yeah, constantly. Even when you see this single file train that looks like is being built right now up against the top side, that information from the spotter on how cars are laying back and when those runs are coming really affects on what you're doing inside the car, because you want to defend that I call leapfrog. When a car goes down to the bottom, tries to pull you back and gain a spot, you try to defend that as much as possible. But this is something I'm a little surprised to see, that they move to the top so quickly. That's we haven't seen the Xfinity cars do that before. They usually stay on the bottom. This is a little different play than normal.
What did you say about Reddick being patient after dropping to the rear, 35th to 18th in a lap and a half? I'd say that's pretty aggressive, huh?
Here's an aggressive move right here with Brad Keselowski.
He's got Chase Briscoe with him. What's happening in the Penske camp, Jamie?
Well, Brad Keselowski just got on the radio, and it sounded like he said he thinks he has a broken roof hatch, told the team to be ready. He may come down. Hard to tell from that angle, but it does look like something is wrong there on that right side.
Wow, that would be devastating. As we mentioned off the top, Team Penske has never won here. Brad's been a runner-up twice. Of course, he's got a teammate in this race, Austin Cindric, who was a rookie a season ago. Brad driving the 12 in that low lane. Just behind him, we mentioned it, Chase Briscoe, the rookie, for Stewart Haas.
You see Brad down there. This is the time to kind of make the move to try to see what the bottom's going to be like in form. And he went down there, and there's not many cars with him. He's going to be in trouble here as he goes towards the back of this pack. But, obviously you're having some issues there. May have to fix that anyways.
We're going to get a good look at it here, but how does he feel this happening? As a driver, how do you know?
Well, he's got a sunroof now, so you're definitely going to feel a lot of air there, obviously, with a lot of air getting inside the car, and you may see some more light getting in the car as well.
I think the sunlight got his attention. He said, hey, I'm not supposed to have a sunroof in this thing. He made a big move there, and when he got down there, I think leading the pack, it probably hurt his aerodynamics with that roof hatch being up.
We're 4 laps in. It's not a 3, it's not an 8, but it is an Earnhardt in the 18 out front.
How cool is that? Earnhardt leading at Daytona.
And a Childress car on the move. There goes Tyler Reddick, dropping below the 90 of Cesar Baccarella. Man, he's rolling fast, and so is Cole Custer. What's the story with that 00, Regan?
Adam, I asked Cole Custer right before this race how aggressive he would be at the start. He said he wanted to be extremely aggressive because he did not want to lose the draft. He's already up 17 positions right now. Unfortunately, they have lost that lead draft already.
And when they get going this fast, you get single file up against the wall, this train is going so fast that it's easy to fall off the back of it. You have to, if you're one of the last 2 or 3 cars, you have to really, really focus on how do I keep that momentum and make sure that you don't fall off the back. And here you see Tyler Reddick, who went to the bottom, tried to make a move, and you see at the back of this pack here, he's about to lose it. He's right on that edge, and that's the risk of making it.
Saw Brad Keselowski dropping the low line. Mentioned the problem with the roof hatch. He is pulled back in line, running 10th right now.
So what's happened is the bolt is deep loose. The nuts dropped off, and that's why it's falling out. The whole hatch on the left front corner.
For copy, we'll get that ready.
Now they have to effect repairs to that, Joey. They won't just let them tape it down. That's a safety device on the roof in case that car turns sideways, so they'll have to repair it. They just can't tape it up.
And from what Brad's saying there, that's going to be a pretty big fix that they're going to have to get in there, and maybe have to drop that window net, and that takes a lot of time. Or maybe someone will go in the right side and do the side window. But right now he's hoping for a caution. I think that's the biggest piece for him right now.
And he knows he's going to get a caution at lap 30 when the stage ends, and you can see it from the onboard of Chase Briscoe. That thing is really flapping around. Any potential, because of what you mentioned, Michael, the safety concerns that NASCAR black flags him and says you have to come now, or not necessarily?
I don't think so. It's still intact. It's going to do its job if the car spins. I just think that they will watch closely as to how Team Penske repairs the roof of that 12 car.
7 laps complete. It's the season opener for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The fans enjoying their day because an Earnhardt is out front. Let's rewind 21 years. February 1998, it finally happened. That classic call from Mike Joy. Dale Sr. winning the Daytona 500 with Fox's own Larry McReynolds on the pit box. That was his only win of the Great American Race. Son Dale Jr. has picked up the Harley J. Earl Trophy twice. And an Earnhardt out front today. Jeffrey qualifying on the front row, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's led all 11 laps so far this afternoon.
I think everybody would be really thrilled to see another Earnhardt drive to victory lane at Daytona. And Jeffrey's been so positive about the way his Supra drives and the speed and maneuverability of it. He's put it on that top lane, and the rest of the field has followed along here early. But Joey, I'm seeing enough runs, guys that are just sort of playing back and forth in this pack, where if they make the decision and they get a couple of takers to go with them, there's going to be some passes.
Yeah, right now you're halfway through the stage or about there, and what you're thinking of is, okay, who's around me? What do I have for teammates? What do I have for other manufacturers? Who can I get on my side for when we get to the end of the stage and I know I'm going to have to make a move? Who's going to go with me? And then you're also playing with the runs. How do I lay back a little bit, surge forward, see how you can time that, and when you make that move, you got to make sure it works, because if it doesn't, you're going to go from 4th or 5th, 6th, 7th, wherever you're at, to the end of that little pack that's there, about 15 cars deep right now.
You mentioned the manufacturer side of things. Top Ford, Brad Keselowski is 9th. Chase Briscoe, also a Ford, back to 13th, Matt.
A few laps into the race, Adam, he did peek to the outside, tried that inside lane, lost a number of spots. His veteran spotter, Timmy Fedua, told him, just tuck back in and stay there. He also told him, being aware of his surroundings, that Allgaier and Elliott were in the mirror. They may try to dive out. Don't go with them. Regan.
Well, Justin Allgaier, as we look on the screen now, he is going to try to make that move to the bottom with his teammate Chase Elliott. He had mentioned earlier when he fell to the back, he was trying something for later in the race. That put him in front of Chase. They decided they wanted to make the move right there.
And this is...
I was just trying something for later right there.
Yeah, totally fine. All good. Perfect time to do it because there's only 3 guys behind you in this pack. Might as well learn.
And his spotter, Tab Boyd, right there, it makes perfect sense. It's all about risk versus reward. And if you're in the back of the pack, you got no risk. You might as well do it. But if you're running 5th, 6th, or 7th, or even closer to the front than that, you can maybe make a pass. But if it doesn't work, the risk is way greater at that point.
Halfway through the opening stage, doesn't work here. The 8 of Chase Elliott sliding back in line.
But just tell him don't go unless I'm on his bumper. I got to be in that pocket before he makes his move.
Yeah, I'll reiterate it. Tell him, hold on.
He wants in his pocket, and that means you saw Chase Elliott gave Allgaier a nice push, but it pushed Allgaier away from Chase, and when he dove to the bottom, that help wasn't there. So they're just trying to organize it, synchronize it better so that they can try as a tandem to go up through there.
Yeah, when he talks about that pocket of air, there's almost like imagine a beach ball or so that's about 3 to 4 feet behind each car. And as you get closer, you're kind of squeezing that beach ball, and it shoots the car out in front of you ahead. If you get a big enough run, you kind of pop that beach ball and you get closer to that back bumper. When you get to that point, you can actually physically push, and that's how you can get a big run to really send those guys up there. But at the same time, you also can't lock on bumpers in this series either. So those are 2 things you really got to be careful with.
You know who's been quiet in the early going but getting the job done? Those 2 cars from Colleague Racing. Ross Chastain, 3rd last night in the Truck Series race. He's 3rd right now in the 10, and just in front of him, his rookie teammate Justin Haley. They're strong early, Jamie.
They are. They already gained 2 positions, riding there in 2nd. I talked to Nick Harrison, his veteran crew chief, and he told me our game plan: stay up front, work with teammates, and don't be too aggressive. So far, he's gone to plan, done exactly what he was told to do. But he is saying his car is very free, and his teammate right behind him, Ross Chastain, radioing in, saying, he better hang on to it. I see how free he is.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too, Joey. These cars have a tendency, as they make those runs back and forth, to wander around a little bit, and that's just the air pushing them. They handle different when they're in a draft like this than they do by themselves.
So you're going faster, you have less air in the car, you got less downforce, and it's buffering around a lot. And a lot of times where these cars are most unstable is on the straightaway.
Yeah.
When there's no load, and that banking really presses the cars into the racetrack. And so the entries and the exits of the corner is where the cars are going to get unstable first.
Let's give some credit to the guy running 5th. Brandon Jones, second year at Joe Gibbs Racing, qualified 16th. He's 5th, 17 laps complete. We're live at Daytona on FS1. One day away from the Great American Race. It's live tomorrow on Fox. Right now, it's all about the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 21 of 30 laps complete in our opening stage. And while we were away, Cesar Baccarella kissing the wall.
Oh, looked like just skimmed it a bit.
Just a kiss.
Not even a tire mark was left behind by Cesar.
He was 13th here last year, driving that 90 for Mario Gosselin.
That thing just kind of went to the right. It may have got a bad pocket of air, or who knows what happened there.
Working toward the end of this opening stage, and we were talking during the break, do you play any strategy? Because if you pit right now, you could make it to the end of stage 2 before you had to pit again. What's your thought process in that regard, Michael?
I like taking that gamble if I'm at the back of this lead pack, because you could get on and off pit road and not lose a lap, stay out when the others pit and get that track position.
Hey, I like the Gibbs cars early, all 3 in the top 7, including Bell, Matt.
Looking good so far. Christopher Bell and Jason Ratcliffe, similar comments when they were debriefing after practice about 15 laps in the draft. Bell said the car had a little bit different feel. Wasn't quite sure if it was the new Supra or if it was the new flange fit body that they're running here at Daytona. So it's really hard to tell. The car on the free side, but not bad. Regan?
Matt, a lot of guys were unsure of what this race would look like today. The one guy that told me that he felt like it would go to the top like what we're seeing right now was Austin Cindric, one of the youngest guys in the field. But he said after practice, the way his car was handled and other cars were handled, he felt like this would happen. They'd go to the top of the racetrack.
he's one of the young guys, but you know, having him as a teammate, he's a real student of the game. He studies his stuff hard.
He does. Austin does a great job at asking questions. I can't tell you how many times last year he'd call me on the way to a racetrack and say, what do you think about this, or what should I look for? He's a real student of the game here, and you can see by his improvement over the last year or so that he's really gotten more comfortable behind the wheel of these Penske Fords.
And Joey, that cool move, that bold move you made late in your duel on the last lap and pulled it off, was that because you were handling better than the other cars, or was that just momentum?
It could be a little bit of both. Could be a little bit.
I say it was all talent.
Yes, there was definitely that.
Stage 1.
It looked like nothing gained.
3 laps to go in our opening stage for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Daytona. The first 27 laps led by Jeffrey Earnhardt. How about this? That's more laps than Joe Gibbs Racing drivers have led combined in the last 7 races here. This is uncharacteristic for JGR.
No kidding.
Taking advantage of that new Supra and putting it in the wind, isn't he?
No, I think at this point, these crew chiefs are all thinking right now on top of the pit box saying this is a track position race. So this will be very interesting to see what the strategy is going to be. Whether they pit before the end of the stage.
Pit road is closed.
I guess not now, it's closed. But maybe the call is 2 tires or gas only when they come down pit road to really set themselves up a little better in the track position situation.
What about that tweet? And I couldn't agree more. I'm sitting up here loving every minute of it myself. Dell Jr. says, how bad blank is it that there's an Earnhardt out front in Daytona?
That from a guy that has 4 cars in the event is a car owner, and Earnhardt's not driving for him. He certainly has a lot of family pride. So neat to see, and happy for Jeffrey, who's a real blue-collar guy, has always been looking for the right opportunity. It comes here this season, first of 9 races for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he's doing some positive things, taking advantage of it, and now we're starting to get dicey. 1 to go in our opening stage, Jamie.
And Brad Keselowski, the team making a plan right now to fix that roof flap. NASCAR came over and told him it must be functional. Obviously, they can't just tape it down, so they have an entire backup roof flap. They will replace it. It'll take some time, but he is allowed to use that driver assist, the extra man over the wall.
And see, Brad has nothing to lose here. He's driving a car that's not going to be collecting owner's points. He has nothing to do with driver's points, so he makes the move. He's got to make a pit stop anyway to fix his roof. He's going to the back, but you see a pass here for the lead.
Stage points, a playoff point, it's all on the line. And the Kaulig teammates ganging up on Jeffrey Earnhardt. That's the rookie, Justin Haley, out of line. A push from teammate Ross Chastain. We're back to the green and white checkered flag, winning the opening stage. Justin Haley, how about that?
Just a textbook move on the back straightaway. He laid off of Jeffrey Earnhardt. He lost some ground to him, and he backed up to his teammate, Ross Chastain, and it propelled him forward. Look, halfway down the back straightaway, he's laying off the leader.
Yes, this is a plan they had in their mind for a while. And you also see the two cars behind them, how they're going to get a run, and they're going to shove all of them forward for a great run here, and perfect timing as you go into the corner at the end of the back straightaway into turn 3. He's got his teammate with him. It's hard to defend that. I don't think Jeffrey could defend that move. You knew it was coming. You knew they were working on it for the last 30 laps.
That was a veteran move. That had to have something to do with spotter Kevin Hamlin. He's seen a lot of races here at Daytona. He's on the roof. He says, back up to your teammate. We think we can get the run. That was beautiful.
Great move.
He made a veteran move here last summer in the Xfinity car. Just went below the double yellow line, had a victory taken away. A bit of redemption for the kid out of Indiana, who, oh, by the way, last year in trucks, won a stage on only one occasion. We're back after a break. A lot to talk about as we wrap up this opening stage for Xfinity teams at Daytona International Speedway. Justin Haley gets the win. Guys scoring points, Ross Chastain, John Hunter Nemechek, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Brandon Jones. Rest of the top 10, Noah Gragson, Ryan Sieg, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. Qualified on the pole, started at the back after changing that tire, rallied to finish 9th, and Austin Cindric completes the top 10. But the focus already under this caution, not about those guys that were up front. Brad Keselowski, Cindric's teammate, who's brought it down pit road to repair that roof hatch.
Yeah, that's not going to be an easy repair. And you see the NASCAR official is right there with those guys, making sure things are going like he wants it to.
Yeah, I'm sure they has some kind of plan here. Not really sure what the plan is, but anytime you're going inside the car with some tools during a race, not a good sign. But I'm sure they'll get it fixed up. The most important part right now is to watch where the pace car is. You don't want to go down a lap. You got to send that car back out, maybe finish the repairs after you catch back up to the field.
I just always ask, don't hand me a wrench. You know, y'all do all that.
It's hard to reach things when you're in there.
Good news for them, though. It held on to the end of stage 1, so you get the caution, number 1. Number 2, pace laps here really long, so that should aid in the process of getting it repaired. Pit road is open. They're heading your way, Matt.
Brandon Jones pitting right in front of Chase Elliott. Elliott needs help in the center of the corner. Big chassis adjustments there. Meanwhile, Brandon Jones, they're looking at left side tires only. Big Ed Watkins packing that fuel cell full of fuel. Small air pressure change to try to tighten up the 19. Jamie.
Justin Haley in the 11 took the lead right when it counted. It was right sides only, just waited enough on fuel. Regan?
John Hunter Nemechek's race car has been too tight on the exit of corners. He wants an adjustment to free that up, but not to free the middle up too much. 4 tires for him.
Ross Chastain came in running second, overshot his pit stall. He will lose a ton of track position. A lot of these guys going with 2 tires. Christopher Bell +7. That 20 team delivers on the opening stop of the season. We're back to Daytona in a moment on FS1. Christopher Bell wins the race off pit road. He'll be the leader when everything cycles through. So we give you our Xfinity fastest pit stops. There you see the 20 team at 6.2. That's a 2-tire stop. Great job by them. Justin Haley, who came in the race leader, not quite as fast on the pit lane. He is 4th right now in the running order. Let's hear from driver 11, Joey.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch up. And hey, Justin Haley, it's Joey Logano up here in the booth. You got a copy?
These fuel numbers.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, that's a great move at the end there. I want to know how long you had that plan. Did you have your spotters working together with your teammate? And was the plan to do it into turn 3 just like that?
Yeah, obviously, we brought a great car to the track, and having Ross behind me as a colleague racing teammate helped a good bit planning that run. Got Kevin Hamlin up there and Brett Griffin just kind of orchestrating it. But really good first stage there. First stage was colleague racing. Everyone on this leaf filter gutter protection team got great ECR power underneath the hood. So if we keep doing it like that and having Ross behind us, we should have a very good chance for some Daytona redemption.
Well, awesome, man. Congratulations on your stage win there. You guys did a great job. That was a very mature, experienced move. So I'm sure everybody watched it. It might be harder to do it the second time.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, that was a very experienced veteran move because you did the same thing Thursday. And
he must have been watching that race.
That's exactly right.
I like the vote of confidence you gave him there at the end of the interview.
Don't get too comfortable.
Hey, Joey, break this down for me. It looks like as they're exiting pit road, maybe Jeffrey Earnhardt didn't nail his shifts properly. They have lights on the tachometer to tell you how many RPM you can turn. When he leaves his box, he's ahead of Christopher Bell right there. And he's got time to get going, but he just doesn't do it. Bell moves around him, and now Bell leads the race.
And that can be something, if you haven't driven that car for that race team very often, there's just little things that are different all the time, and it might be the way they set the lights on the tack. That's how you get to your pit road speed when you go down these straightaways. And maybe he just didn't have those set to what he's used to. And here you see the 10 slide through, which is easy to do here at Daytona. The tire is so hard. You're going so fast down pit road, and sometimes you hit the brakes and you're like, no, you're right by the box, you can't stop.
So they continue to repair Brad Keselowski's vehicle, and he's going to have to rally from deep in the field and make up a lap here in this second stage or as we go down the stretch this afternoon. Other problems on this opening cycle of stops. Noah Gragson was speeding. The 2 of Tyler Reddick over the wall too soon, and an uncontrolled tire for the 1 of Michael Annett. So a lot of drivers having problems on the first stops of the year. Tonight, world featherweight champion Leo, the Earthquake Santa Cruz, puts his belt on the line against Rafael Big Bang Rivera. It's live tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It's on Fox and the Fox Sports app. If I were you, Joey, I would stick to racing. Don't get in the ring, okay?
No, just a few times after the race, but not during very often.
You know, and if you're a crew chief or a crew guy, first stop of the year, Ross Chastain comes in too hot and slides through. I'd rather my driver do that than come poking in there. That tells you he's set on go. He wants to help the crew, give the crew all the advantage he can, and he just overshot it a bit.
Yeah, and his pit crews are so important, to get in that track position. But the driver has a big piece on pit road too, to really maximize it. But there is that risk of going too far.
Problems, as we saw there for Jeremy Clements, driver out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. We'll follow up there. And also, what's the latest on Brad Keselowski, Jamie?
Well, I put the 12 team on the stopwatch. It took them 2 minutes the first stop. Then they just came in again, and they were here about 15 seconds. They went ahead and put 4 tires on and handed Brad what looked like a zip tie. And he worked on it himself inside the car. And I just asked the team if they got the roof flap fixed, and I got a big thumbs up.
Michael, you said, don't ever hand me a wrench. Is it okay to get a zip tie as a driver in the car? Can you handle that?
I know how to operate one of those, Adam.
Let's hear from Chase Elliott, 6th.
I just don't understand what's promoting this top line deal. It's very odd. Like, I mean, nothing changed in these cars, did they?
No, not really.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, I get wanting to make it to the end for sure, but it's just odd how content everybody is.
You don't want to be learning how these things will pass when it comes time to do so.
Reaction, drivers?
That's what I want to do. I want to learn. I want to see what I've got.
Me too, but it's all about the driver mentality. When they think the top's going to work and you get 10 guys that think that and they all stick together on the top becomes so strong that the bottom is very, very challenging to get rolling.
Chase Elliott restarts 6th, the first on 4 tires. The top 5 took 2. Bell, the leader, chooses the outside lane, and we're underway in this second stage.
Now this will be the piece that's interesting, is to see how this top lane, does it form? And I think a lot of that depends on Christopher Bell right now. If he goes to the bottom and blocks that and keeps that bottom lane kind of formed together, the bottom may be stronger.
On board with Bell, and that low lane has momentum.
And he's going to clear him.
There goes Earnhardt, sliding up into that outside lane. He'll go back on point. Brandon Jones The third driver from Joe Gibbs Racing may get hung out to dry. Cindric inside of the 19. We'll see what happens here. The 22 all clear down low.
And you almost wonder if that was a teammate move with the 18 and the 20. But here you see the bottom, Austin Cindric. He's going to make this side draft. He's going to pull him back. But there's just no one behind him right now. I'm not sure. Well, as the 19 gets to his back bumper, this might be a good enough push to get him up there.
Let's watch.
Help him stay up there at least.
Let's watch that white number 8 car. We heard Chase Elliott saying, I don't know what they're doing up here. He's up there right now. Does he stay on the high side, or now that there's a line formed up at the bottom, does he try to shoot the gap?
Well, the line is pretty stout on the bottom right now. Not a lot of them found a hole in the bottom, and Austin Cindric took advantage of that and was allowed him to get the push and get the run and take the lead in the money line or not Mustang, it's a Ford, or no, it is a Mustang then these things now too.
It is.
Forget about that.
It is.
I don't race these enough.
Hey, what a difference a year makes. Last year, 10 laps in, Cindric crashes out. Right now, he's leading in the early portion of this second segment.
This is fast and furious, Joey. We got Mustangs, Camaros, and Supras. These cars are
it.
hopped up.
They look cool. That bottom lane is staying stronger. I actually saw a couple cars move to the bottom trying to make it work. So definitely a different flow to this pack right now for whatever reason. Who knows why?
Yeah, and I know that there's drivers that are happy to see it. This gives you options. You know, when it's strung around the top and you dive out to make a pass and fall to the back, that's no fun. They're getting some runs now down on the bottom, and this is the kind of racing we expected to see from the green flag.
Big push in that low lane. Brandon Jones slides in front of Cindric. Here comes Ross Chastain from 2nd to 8th on that cycle of pit stops. The 10 car now racing down low looking for the lead.
You know, now that a few drivers saw that the bottom can be successful, that can change everything. Because every time before in the first run in the first stage of this race, everyone that went to the bottom failed. And now you've seen maybe 3 or 4 guys on the bottom successfully take the lead. And here you see it again.
What about Ross Chastain? He said, boys, I slid through the pit on you. I'll get it back for you. And now he's racing for the lead.
Got his first career win last fall, driving for Chip Ganassi Racing in the 42. Happened at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Made his debut in that car at Darlington. So successful. Started out front, won both stages, got crashed late, and now here he is racing at Daytona for Team Colleague, and he's got his car right at the front. That 90 car in the middle, Cesar Baccarella, and he's going to go in the wrong direction. Nemechek down inside of him.
You do not want to be the car stuck in the middle. That's not what you want to hear after they say your name. You could see scrub the wall already, but Caesar's got a fast ride, and he's hanging right in there.
And there's Chastain trying to take the top spot away from Brandon Jones. Oh,
he had it just for a second. That's one of those questionable calls. You're really relying on your spotter who's a mile away from there looking through his binoculars, and it's so close, especially this early in the race. If he misjudged that, he wrecks the whole field. And here he's going to take the lead anyway.
What about that textbook side draft he made at the end of the back straightaway? He pulled up on the car of Jones and got that really big draft into the corner, and then look at who's on the bottom. Chase Elliott. He didn't like it up top. Now he's down there racing.
Yeah, you know Chase is going to make the move. In the duels, he made the move every chance he could to the bottom, and now that this is turning into a little bit more of a bottom type of race, you see him starting to move to the forward. He's willing to take those risks.
Don't you want that guy behind the wheel of your car, Adam? Chase Elliott wasn't content with riding around in the line. He said, we got to go. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
We saw him doing that Thursday night in the duel. Even when it wasn't working, he was going down and trying to get an education on what the low line could do. And speaking of the low line, look at that orange car. 4th back down low. That's Josh Williams, teammate to Cesar Baccarella. Mario Goslin's brought some strong cars here to Daytona.
I just want Cesar to get out of the middle. He's making me a little bit nervous back there with that strong car. He's been kind of wobbling around. It's a good way to get in trouble when you get your car in that shape.
Tyler Reddick, pole sitter, started at the rear after they had to change that tire. Penalized on the opening stop of the afternoon. That gold number 2 back inside the top 10. Closing on the halfway point of stage 2 here at Daytona. Top 5, Ross Chastain, Brandon Jones, Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, and Jeffrey Earnhardt. 13 laps to go, stage 2 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Daytona International Speedway. Our Ford Performance Track Facts. Ford has won 3 of the last 8 Xfinity races here at Daytona. And Ryan Reed, how about this, is the only Ford driver with multiple victories at the World Center of Racing. He won the season opener in 2015 and 2017. Best Ford today, Austin Cindric. He is 3rd behind Brandon Jones and race leader Ross Chastain. As they come back to the start-finish line, we crank it up on FS1.
Really good job of that in the duel the other night, so if you saw it, that's what we need to do if we ever get in that situation. Close to the end of the stage, they start forming a line behind him. Maybe we can get down in front of him. Quarterback, halfback. I know. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I see it. Some of them are going to start peeking out for air as well. Just don't follow them down. We're on the car right now. Okay, then. Not so delayed, tight, turn it off the wall. All right, man, almost right. Get back. Keep cruising. You're 220 old, 235. Add for notes. Well, remember you're going to back up motor too, so you might not have the same power. Sleep all night. That's nice.
Down now to 10 laps remaining in stage 2 for these Xfinity cars at Daytona, and it's Ross Chastain out front. Quite a debut over at Colleague Racing, Jamie.
It really has been so far. I talked to Ross and the team. Chris Rice is now the president of Colleague Racing, and I asked him about him, and he said, you know, Ross has a lot to prove. After the heartbreaking news that he lost his ride at Chip Ganassi Racing, he wouldn't be running that 42 full-time. He worked a deal for 3 races with this team, and then he'll run for JD Motorsports in the 4. But their goal today, be aggressive, go for wins. This isn't a full-time ride. Let's just go for it. Regan?
Well, a couple spots behind Ross Chastain. Austin Cindric, his goal today was to just go out here and make laps and earn the respect of his competitors. He's had a very difficult time down here at Daytona. A couple years ago in the Truck Series, 1 lap. Last year in the Xfinity Series, 10 laps in this race. And then in the July Xfinity race, he ended up on his roof. He wants to see the end of this race. So far, mission accomplished.
You guys talking about a Chevy and a Ford there. The Toyota is strong early. Brandon Jones is 2nd. Jeffrey Earnhardt, Christopher Bell as teammates, also in the top 5. We'll put the checkered out in stage 2 in a moment. Beautiful day in Daytona Beach, Florida. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Win your battles, earn your name. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Down to 5 laps to go in our second stage. Ross Chastain leads it. Then it's Brandon Jones, Austin Cindric, Jeffrey Earnhardt, and Christopher Bell. Stage 1, we had a last lap pass. What are we going to see here as we head toward that green and white checkered flag?
You're going to see a last lap move. Whether it's a pass or not, we're not sure. I know Ross Chastain is an aggressive race car driver. He is willing to make those blocks, no doubt. And when I see behind him, you see Jones, Earnhardt, Bell, 3 Gibbs cars. I think they're going to work together to try to form a run to make a move on Ross Chastain. Now, Austin Cindric is the odd one out right now. What will he do? That's the question that'll be answered here pretty quick. He's going to have to be on his game to make that move when those Gibbs cars make it, to follow that along so he doesn't get left out as well. So it's all going to happen here probably on the last lap, but all these thoughts right now are brewing through these drivers' minds. Their spotters are probably standing next to each other talking about it. How do we form this run? How do we lay back and make sure we have enough time to overtake the 10 car and ultimately win the stage?
And if I'm Brandon Jones right now, Adam, in second, I'm starting to play with my throttle, backing off a little bit, trying to bring myself back to the nose of the 22 of Cindric. You've got to have that gap. We saw it pulled off perfectly at the end of stage 1 by Haley. Jones needs to start trying to play that gap and make it a little bit bigger so he can get that big push if he's going to be able to make that move.
And we haven't seen him play with that yet. He's kind of kept this constant gap right in front of him, which is a little surprising. You think, okay, he'd try to get it, because you got to time this right. You don't want to just do it in the middle of the straightaway somewhere. You want to do it the right part of the racetrack where you can really take advantage of the curves on this racetrack. So that's kind of, I would think he'd be practicing that to make sure he gets to run at the right time, but he's not right now. And some of that's just an experience thing, right? For a lot of these drivers, they haven't been put in this situation before where you're running single file against the wall and you got to have these thoughts going through your mind, because this move's going to happen really quick and it's going to come out of nowhere.
A couple of other stories to keep in mind as we come back to 2 laps to go in this second stage. Tyler Reddick, as we said, won the pole, dropped to the rear with a tire change, had a pit road penalty when he pitted at the end of stage 1. He has worked his way back to 6th, so he's got a great day. The 0 of Cole Custer started at the rear.
Trying to get the run.
He too is working toward the front, up to 13th. And Brad Keselowski, who went a lap down making repairs to that roof hatch, he finds himself 1 lap down, but in the free pass position.
Look what Chase Elliott's doing. He's forming in his own gang and trying to attack and get to the front. They're making some good progress.
Now right there, he just broke the 20 off the 18, so now you don't have those teammates really working well together unless he's able to clear him. But right now the 20 can't go to the bottom. The move has to happen here pretty soon. You have 3 cars down there. That's a pretty good pack. If Cindric can get a run right now, that would be a great time to try to go down there and maybe drag the 18 with him.
Look at Allgaier trying to get that side draft, right? He is so aggressive in that bright orange number 7.
It's forming. Can the 19 gap back off the 10 of Ross Chastain and make that move from the 2nd position? There you see Ryan Sieg digging on the bottom as well.
Still out there, Camp. Still out there.
And I don't see any runs forming right now. It seems like everyone's just at 3 feet apart. I'm surprised. Oh, here comes a run.
The 11's closing that too quick. Too quick.
Cindric nearly got sideways.
I think it was at the bumper of Jeffrey Earnhardt, Adam. Those cars made some contact, and you see Earnhardt lost some ground. Can he get there?
Chastain leading it back to the finish line in stage number 2. Colleague Racing going to sweep the first 2 stages. Stage 1 to Justin Haley. Our second stage winner is Ross Chastain. 5th career victory in a stage.
Why did no one go for it right there? That was my question. There was so much opportunity. I was watching. I was like, turn, do something. And then there was just, everyone was just staying where they were at.
Watch this big push to the 22 from Jeffrey Earnhardt. About Rex Cindric. He really wobbled there. That took their momentum away.
Yeah, it was really the push he needed, but because it got the car unstable, it probably didn't give him the run he needed.
Top 5, stage 2, Chastain, Brandon Jones, Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, and Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Jeez.
That's why you...
Tell me what the celebration looked like last year. Championship's over. How was the celebration?
Well, I honestly didn't have a lot of time to celebrate. The day after I get home, my cat wasn't feeling well. I was at the emergency vet all day long. It was kind of a scary moment. I won a championship. I was ready to lose my cat.
What are you going to be doing when you're 50 years old, racing's all done?
I hope I'm going to be working on cars. Maybe I have my own place where I, fix cars, older cars, newer cars. I'm going to have some involvement with cars. That's just what I like.
Growing up, give me one thing you missed out on because of racing that you wish you wouldn't have.
I didn't go to high school like pretty much everybody does. I didn't get to do the prom, those kind of things.
Wait, no prom, no dancing, none of that?
No, I'm definitely not a dancer. That's why I sit in a seat for hours at a time, just moving my hands and my feet.
Tell me about this beater car that you have. What's the story behind it?
Well, it was about a mile down the road. An older lady had it at her mobile home, picked the car up from her, bought it, $1,000 cash, and I've been slowly bringing it back to life. It'll be back on the road soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Walking and talking with Regan Smith. Truth is, Regan didn't have a date to prom either, so, turnabout is fair play there, huh?
I know he tried to give him a hard time about it.
Reddick's had a nice day. It hasn't been easy, but the defending champ, defending race winner is kind of putting the pieces together as we work on this final stage, Michael.
Well, you can overcome a lot of things with a fast car, Adam, and that was the fastest car in qualifying, and Richard Childress Racing always brings hot rods to Daytona, and that car will be one you'll have to beat if you're going to win this race today.
So pit stops to end stage 2. Chastain leads him down. Then it's Jones and Cindric, Matt.
Chris Lambert, Jones's spotter, told him that they had a plan, but another car pulled down at the wrong time and ruined it. You can see they're going to go to the right side. Remember the previous stop, left side tires. Brandon says the car really good. Didn't want any changes. Jamie?
Ross Chastain in the 10 took right sides only. Then he got this stage win. The car is good a little bit free, but he said he's in his habitat. It's perfect up front, Regan.
Austin Cindric's race car has been good, just a little bit too loose in and off when he's getting side drafted, and he doesn't want bump drafts into the corners. 2 tires for him.
And the race off pit road, again, going to go to Joe Gibbs Racing. This time it's Brandon Jones. He and Cindric up a spot. They take 2 tires, and Tyler Reddick continues his climb. 3rd is where he is, exiting the pit lane. The final stage from Daytona, it's on the way.
is he back here?
Just over 50 laps remaining for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Daytona, the season opener in 2019. Let's hear from Ross Chastain, winner in stage number 2.
Hey, Ross, it's Michael and the boys up in the Fox booth. Do you copy, buddy?
Sir.
Well, you've had about a textbook race on the track. That move that you guys, your teammates made to win stage 1 was beautiful, and then the dash to the checker flag in stage 2. It's been all about you today, buddy.
Well, I'm going to turn the tables on you there, Michael. It's all about Nutrient Ag Solutions today, man. We got the ag car out here, and you guys know my heart's in agriculture. I'm an 8th generation farmer, and they gave me this opportunity with colleagues. They stuck with me, and can't thank them enough.
I know you're an ag guy, and I love that about you, but I love your spirit and your aggression. How are you going to race back to the front?
Well, we got 4 Mr. Feelgoods on her now, and that'll set us up pretty good for later. Handling is a little bit of a deal here. I feel like I'm a little better handling than other guys, so that's a testament to Chris Rice and Alex. And these guys on this 10 car, this thing's fast, but it also is handling pretty good. So really, though, the air just worked my way. Those couple moves we made in that second stage. Next time those could go the wrong way, and had to be pretty aggressive with the side draft. So it's been really clean out here so far. Got through the truck race with the opposite strategy last night with them East boys in True North on the 45 truck. And, I don't know. We're just going to keep playing our game, and Brett will keep me updated what's going on.
All right, bud, there's a storm ahead, I'm afraid, so watch out. It's going to be fun to watch. Good luck.
10-4, thanks.
You talk about a dream come true. A Florida kid leading here at Daytona drops back to 10th. How much do the 4 tires make a difference down the stretch?
Well, it's hard to say if you're not inside the race car right now, and each car may be a little bit different. The cars that don't handle well, those 4 tires are going to feel really good. The cars that are handling well, you might just say, you know what, put 2 on there. I want this track position. I want to stay up towards the front, because that intensity is about to ratchet up just a little bit more. And as we get closer to the end of this thing, when drivers, like we said, know what it's like to win here at Daytona, and they're willing to take those risks more and more.
And we saw him very aggressive with the side draft he talked about. And if you have a car that handles well, you can just make those aggressive moves even more often. So I think it's a great call right here to get 4 tires. You can get 2 later if you need them. I think Ross is in really good shape here.
Do we know who the favorite is with 50 to go?
Nope.
Okay, we answer that. Hey, Brad Keselowski is back on the lead lap. He got the free pass, so I'm sure he'll be a part of the mix as well. And now our Xfinity fastest pit stops. This time it goes the route of Junior Motorsports. Noah Gragson comes off at 6.2. Chase Briscoe just over 7 seconds there for SHR, and those guys obviously taking 2 tires there. And it looked like some more problems there for Brad Keselowski. We'll follow up. First, let's hear from drivers that had some issues.
I wish I could have called it quicker or differently to help you there, but it was just so late. Yeah, I kind of felt like if we would have got down in front of the 8, we would have probably drugged the 19 down there and maybe even the 22. A lot of disturbance, yeah, and heavy traffic there. We had a plan up here, but when they jumped down to the inside, it drugged the 20 back, killed us. I didn't want to be the one to try to make a move there to the end and do it early.
Those were crew chiefs, drivers, spotters talking about their plan at the end of stage 2 and how they didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, they all just sounded too scared. So you got to go.
Yeah, but all those plans, Adam, and what you saw that didn't work then, you're going to do something different next time. And, man, what a mess for Brad there, Matt.
5th to 20th for Chase Elliott. An issue during his pit stop. The whip hose, which is about a 24-foot or 24-inch extension from the impact gun, the Paoli gun system, the fitting broke. They had to use the other air gun that went over the wall to try to complete the stop. 4 tires, but this helps set him up for later of possibly 2 tires, Jamie, per pit strategy.
Well, Brad Keselowski thought the roof hatch issues were behind him, but as soon as he pulled out just this last stop, he said it just popped open. He said, guys, I've got a convertible here, and literally that hatch was all the way flipped back. So now they've taken that back up, and they're trying to get it secured inside. But it wasn't just an issue on the left side. He had problems with the right side as well, so we'll keep our eye on that.
Well, this is an unfortunate break. It developed really right from the green flag went a lap down repairing it at the end of stage 1, got the lap back at the end of stage 2, and he's still sitting on the pit lane as the field comes through the tri-oval to get the green flag and begin our final stage. Front row, Brandon Jones, Tyler Reddick. We are green once again.
Hard for Brad to blend right there as the whole pack comes by, putting him back down a lap, and obviously he's still down on the apron back there trying to get on. So he's got to be careful not to lose the draft and lose another lap if he loses the draft here.
Here's the other thing to keep in mind, Michael. We've not had a caution for incident yet. That's what he's going to need to get that free pass.
And that's what I was just fixing to point out. I think the action is straight ahead. I believe we're going to have cautions in this final stage. These guys are going to get more bold and bolder with their moves, side drafting. They can't possibly synchronize drive all the way to the checkered flag. Brad's going to need that help if they've got the roof patch problem solved.
At some point, they're going to wad him up, and you see how racy it's getting here. And this, like you said, the side draft is going to get closer and closer, and that's usually what causes the crashes. As cars side draft more, the runs get bigger, and then it just becomes more bumping, and that's usually when they crash. So, but I think right now everyone remembers what happened at the beginning of the second stage and how that second lane was able to move forward for a little bit. So we'll see how long that lasts before the top prevails again, if it does.
You know what breaks up that bottom line a bit is when somebody takes you 3 wide. You lose momentum. One guy goes forward, but it hurts others. You see Chase Elliott, he had some problems on his pit stop as we covered. He's going to be really aggressive down on the bottom, makes that move.
For our roof flap.
And that's from Brad Keselowski.
Talking about the debris. I'll let you know when we get the white cross.
And leading that lap, Tyler Reddick. What an adventurous day for the kid out of California. Reigning champion has found his way back to the top spot at Daytona. Of course, he won that thriller here a season ago, as you saw the result of Brad Keselowski's car and that roof flap that's blown away.
Brad, you know this, Joey, you know this very well. When you put the fastest car in front, and that's what Tyler Reddick was in qualifying, that's going to pull that top line ahead even further.
He has some fast cars, but you still have a lot on the bottom there. But you have a new group of teammates up there, the Junior Motorsports cars, Noah Gregson, Justin Allgaier up there running. So you got a new little group up there that we haven't seen all day yet.
Cole Custer 8th, started at the back, changed engines. He's circled to the top 10 for the first time this afternoon.
There's still a lot of cars on the bottom. I wouldn't bail on the bottom yet. I think it still can prevail and maybe grab a few spots as cars stay committed to it. And that's really what it takes. It takes discipline. You got to be able to stick with it, and because as soon as a couple of them fall up into the top lane, or if you put another car 3 wide, it totally kills the bottom lane.
What about that run by Brandon Jones? He's up beside Reddick now, pulling that inside line along. Jeffrey Earnhardt still contending up inside the top 5.
Ryan Sieg making noise down in that bottom lane, scored in the top 10. And there's a caution.
We'll save it here then.
So they're going to pick up that debris that came off the 12 of Brad Keselowski. And we said it earlier, Team Penske yet to win a race here in the Xfinity Series. And I would say, Brad, the overwhelming favorite following practice yesterday and again in the garage this morning. It would appear if they're going to get it done today, it rests on the shoulders of Austin Cindric, who was penalized on that last cycle of stops and right now finds himself 20th in that 22 car.
See Haley saving some gas there. What's your job as a driver, Joey? Just save as much as you can all the time, because you seem to see more guys shutting their engines off now than ever.
Well, you just never know. You know, as this race comes down to the end, it's a good chance there's going to be a green-white checker, and you want to make sure you got a little bit left in there. And maybe it makes the pit stop quicker. If you're doing a fuel only, if you have more car in it, your pit stop's quicker. So those little things must help out here and there.
Some sad news in the NASCAR world today. We found out this morning that Sam Bass passed away, NASCAR's first officially licensed artist. He designed trophies, paint schemes, helmets, and track programs. Our thoughts and prayers to the Bass family. Sam was 57 years old. A little recap on what's happened here so far. Last lap move ending that first stage put Justin Haley as the winner. And then the second stage went the route of his teammate Ross Chastain. Pit road is open, 48 to go. They're heading your way, Matt.
Most commonly used phrase up and down pit road, do not slide them. They're going to jack up Chase Elliott's car so they can try to get it full of fuel. He's away. Big Ed Watkins packed that 19, Jamie.
And the 18 of Jeffrey Earnhardt having the race of his life. It was fuel only there. He's been running top 5, Regan.
The 2-car of Tyler Reddick comes in. A nice recovery after an earlier pit road penalty. Fuel for him.
And there was contact on pit road. Gray Gaulding hit as he was coming into his pit. He got hit and turned around. We'll follow up on that. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick still sitting on pit road. And there you see Gaulding driving for Bobby Dotter. It's SS Greenlight Racing. And here's what happened. He's coming in. Justin Haley going out. Got him in the right rear. How much damage did that do to the right front of Haley's machine? Wrapping up our third caution of the day, and an extra pit stop for Justin Haley in the 11. Had that contact with the 08 of Gray Gaulding. They have taped up the right front. He'll have to hustle to catch up the rear of the field, and likely will not get there because we are set to go green. We'll do so with 45 laps remaining. Nearly everyone pitted there to at least get fuel. Brandon Brown did not. He leads in the 86 and takes the outside lane.
Got a three-wide restart here. I was just something about the restart that everyone was trying to figure out in the lineup there. And there you see Snower Gregson up there three-wide on the outside. I don't know if that's the place you want to be right now. Hopefully he can find a hole. There it goes.
NASCAR rarely throws the green flag when the order is jumbled up like it was. What a mess that turned out to be, but they sorted it out, it seems.
That's Michael Annett in the 1, jumping to the race lead. Of course, he drives for Junior Motorsports. Got a new crew chief midway through last year. Travis Mack told me yesterday in the garage that time together, ending 2018, should pay big dividends as we open up this campaign. And right now, they're leading at Daytona. Got their teammate right behind him. That's Justin Allgaier. That's the good news for Junior Motorsports. Bad news for JRM. Noah Gragson out of line on the restart. He is being posted by NASCAR. And in the middle of the pack, there's Tyler Reddick trying to make up ground in that inside lane.
You know, for Noah Gragson there, I think it's just a pass-through penalty. You know, it's not the end of the world. It could be a caution to get back in the right spot, but I'm not really sure how that all happened.
Here's the restart.
I guess what happened, Joey, is someone just wasn't in their proper position, because it isn't clear to tell how Gragson could have been a part of this mess. You see,
we're being told that he should have been behind the 18 of Jeffrey Earnhardt in the inside lane.
That's interesting. Is normally NASCAR gives everyone the opportunity maybe wave off the green flag and say, okay, you're in the wrong spot. You got to get here and get there. Because sometimes when you're getting that close to the green, you can't even get to the right spot you want to, because everyone's bumper to bumper. So a very unique situation there.
Let's follow up on Tyler Reddick. 15th. They were on pit road a long time, Regan.
Well, they were, Adam. They tried to do a gas-only stop. Unfortunately, they couldn't get gas in the car. They tried both cans. They had to raise the deck lid and shake the fuel cell. Then the fuel finally started going into the car. An update on Noah Gragson also. I'm watching. They are arguing with officials right now about what just took place on the racetrack. They're not happy about the call, and he hasn't come down pit road yet.
Look at Michael Annett. He had an uncontrolled tire earlier, pit road penalty, lost a ton of track position, has worked his way back to the top spot, and behind the two guys from Junior Motorsports, a pair from Joe Gibbs Racing. Christopher Bell is third, Brandon Jones is fourth, and the Ford of Chase Briscoe rounds out the top 5, and we've gone back to running the wall here in the early stages of stage 3.
That freight train is formed again up top, and you better find a hole. If you're not in that group, you're going to be in big trouble really quick.
Chase Elliott is right on the bumper of Noah Gragson. We know Chase has been really quick to want to dive to the bottom, and here goes Gragson out of the line, coming to pit road. Looks like they're going to be able to pull this off without incident. Anytime you're running in the middle of the pack and you got a pit, that could cause trouble, but he did a nice job of flaring out of there, and he's on pit road.
Two things they need. One, no speeding penalty when you make this pass through, and number 2, a caution. It's really in the same category as Justin Haley, who had to get those repairs after that pit road contact, and there goes Reddick. Boy, that's daring, sliding up into line in that gold car. Let's get a Toyota driver update with 41 to go. Matt Yoakum, what do you have?
Christopher Bell right there in the 3rd position in his mirror. There's a crash on the racetrack.
Caution out, the 07. That's Ray Black Jr. 4th yellow flag we've seen here this afternoon. 2nd time it is waved in our final stage.
Just got a sneaky feeling, Adam, we're going to see a few more of these before we get to the checkered flag, because a guy that you might let squeeze in a hole earlier, probably going to think twice before you do it. At this point, you can see the right front looks like the tire was rubbed against another car. See if we can pick out what happened.
Oh, yeah, as you see back there in the back of the pack there, it looked like the 19 trying to get in line and just misjudged it a little bit. And I believe Ray Black Jr. was just the innocent bystander in the wrong place, wrong time. And, you know, good news, he didn't hit anything, but he does get some nose damage right here as he shovels into the grass. So hopefully it's not that bad.
Saw that tire blow out as he was spinning down off the racing surface there, and really good job to hang on to it, but as you said, pounding that grass on the back straightaway.
What about that big break? Even though it was a bad break for Black, as he goes around, both Noah Gragson after that unscheduled pit stop and Justin Haley will be able to get back into contention now.
You know, something I noticed there before that crash, though, is yes, we were had that freight train up against the wall, but it was long. Look how long that line is. There's a lot more cars that were trying to keep up. So now I'd be interested, does Chase Elliott make that move now that he's a little closer to the front running, where is he, a 7th or so, and you have 20-something spots behind you, you may lose. So that's a risk.
When they pitted last time, they did so with 48 laps to go. That's right on the outside edge of the pit window to go to the scheduled distance, and these caution laps just going to help them out in regard to fuel mileage.
Yeah, they won't come to pit road, I don't believe, because track position is so important. You got to try to figure out in your mind this draft running around the top of the track. How do you get that track position? Certainly coming to pit road would hurt that cause, and these teams know it's important to keep anything you got.
We've gone under 40 laps remaining. Our top 5 at Daytona: Michael Annett, Justin Allgaier, Christopher Bell, Brandon Jones, and Chase Briscoe. Back to Daytona in a moment. .39 laps to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, opening up 2019 here at Daytona International Speedway. So now let's go to that Toyota team update that was broken up by that caution that came out a moment ago. Matt?
JGR, 4 wins here at Daytona and Xfinity. Christopher Bell almost scored number 5 back in July last year, finishing in the 3rd position. Right now, they're sitting in a great spot because the caution makes them good to go for a green-white checkered. They were looking about a half a lap short. They are now good to go for a green-white checkered. Just sitting there riding along. His teammate alongside, Brandon Jones. Another great day for this youngster as well. Stout at Talladega last year. He almost scored the win. So it'll be interesting to see maybe if it's the JGR camp and which one.
Yeah, they've done a really nice job today, leading a bunch of laps here this afternoon. And of course, it's an all-new year for Toyota in the Xfinity Series, bringing the Supra over, Michael.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful race car. That nose is so sleek, and there's some really nice Supras out on the racetrack. I was out at Barrett-Jackson, Adam, and somebody paid $2 billion for a Supra. That must be a pretty nice car, huh?
That's a big number. I hope it gets good fuel mileage.
These cars here aren't quite that much, but I wouldn't want to go down to the local dealership and try to purchase one of them.
And Brad Keselowski out of the event in the garage. Jamie?
Yes, officially time has expired. They can no longer work on it. What were you dealing with inside the car the entire race, basically?
Well, I felt like I was back in the 50s running a convertible here on the beach. That was interesting. The roof, whatever that thing is called, escape hatch. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like there was a defect from the factory on the body, and there was just nothing we could do. The guys tried to fix it, but it's in a spot where you can't get to it, work on it. It's made the way it's made, and it's kind of stuck. So it is what it is. It's just one of those things outside of your control, and sometimes that's how Daytona goes. But I hate it for Fitzgerald. I hate it for Ford. I know we had a car that could win today, and it broke on lap 1, turn 1, and we did everything we could to fix it for the last hour or so, and it's just not something you can fix. It has to be right from the factory and not something we control. So part of it, I guess.
Adam?
Brad is out. His teammate, Austin Cindric, will restart 8th. Also want to update Noah Gragson, Justin Haley. They've had some problems recently. They restart 27th, 31st, respectively, as we go back to the green flag.
Looks like some nice teamwork there, getting that restart sorted out between Allgaier and Annette. And see if Christopher Bell, who loves his Supra, talked about all day long yesterday as the fastest car he's had at Daytona, see if he can get up there and challenge for the lead.
Now, what I see on this restart, obviously some great teamwork from the junior motorsports cars, but I also see as I go through the corner, cars were looking for that hole up top, and you saw 3 or 4 cars through turns 1 and 2 dive off to the top lane, and now you only see 3 cars really that are tight, maybe a couple stragglers in the back trying to catch up to them on that bottom lane. It's going to be tough for them right now. I think they can hang for a little bit, but I think as that momentum builds, it's going to be tough.
What about that bright green number 39 right there? Larry's Lemonade for Ryan C. He's right up in the front pack, running in the 4th position. This team has upgraded their equipment, hired some additional personnel. This could be a team that really has a great year in 2019.
He's been close here so many times, running 4th right now, and just behind him, Tyler Reddick, 10th.
Anything we can do to stay for a little bit would be good. I mean, we're right on our number, right? Copy. Dead on. Save me every drop you can here, little buddy. 10-4, big buddy.
Sounds pretty laid back, huh?
I don't think he liked the little buddy part of that. That's good. You know, there is a lot of opportunity to save fuel. If you're in the middle of a single car pack there up against the wall, there is a lot of opportunity where you can run half throttle, you know, and just kind of maintain the gap around you and save some gas that way.
What about that car out front? Michael Annette having a strong afternoon, Regan.
He is having a strong afternoon, Adam, and that's not a surprise to this team. The guys were telling me earlier today, Travis Mack in particular, his crew chief, how hard Michael has worked during the entire offseason. Said he's put on weight, but it's been all muscle. He's been in the gym. He has been getting ready for this race season like he never has before.
Well, he and Travis Mack, his crew chief, been working out together.
7 a.m. in the morning they hit the gym out.
Developing that chemistry, just like you and I, Michael.
That's us. We've got that chemistry going on. And no surprise, look down on the bottom. Who's leading that line? Chase Elliott. He does not want to be hanging around up top. And another car that's an awesome part of this story, the 93 of Jeff Green, Owensboro, Kentucky's 2000 champion here in the Xfinity Series. Jeff Green running in the 6th position.
Don't look now, but he got 4 tires on that last stop, just behind Green in the 93, the 10 of Ross Chastain. That's Elliott below him in the 8, drafting help from the 20 of Christopher Bell.
I'm going to say there's going to be an 11 and a 9 joining this party pretty soon, too. They had those unscheduled stops, been on pit road right now, just outside the top 20, but I guarantee you they'll be coming.
Yeah, they just need more help down there. You got 2 of the fastest cars on the racetrack on the bottom right now, but 2 cars is just not enough. You got to have some numbers down there. You got to have, you know, at least probably 5 good cars with a good one leading it. That's probably the most important part. You got to have one of those fast cars up front.
Michael Annette has led 11 laps today, 14 prior starts here at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. He had never been out front. Not surprising, though. Think about junior motorsports and their history here. They won 5 of the last 10 races. This team understands what it's like to go plate racing. And I'll tell you who's been heartbroken here, Justin Allgaier. 3 summers ago, lost when the caution came out of the final lap to Eric Almirola. He doesn't want to run second again.
What about Elliott Sadler driving the 1 car last year? What a highlight for a finish, unless you're Elliott Sadler, who lost this race by an inch.
Something about that Earnhardt name at Daytona. They know how to go fast.
Sadler was second here in both races a year ago. 32 remaining at Daytona.
We got this thing. Let's have some fun. Something broke inside the car. If they get a hellacious run, we may go with them. Just play it by ear. I just don't understand what's promoting this top line deal. It's very odd. Go, 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 go. Outside, 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 outside.
Been an entertaining afternoon here at Daytona International Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 29 remaining. Your top 5, Michael Annett, Justin Allgaier, teammates at Junior Motorsports. Right behind them, Brandon Jones from Joe Gibbs Racing. Ryan Sieg driving the family cars 4th. And Austin Cindric, representing Team Penske, is 5th. Green, Chastain, Earnhardt, Custer, and Briscoe round out the top 10. And when is the time that you push the go button? Because we're starting to work down to the end of this thing.
Not yet. If you're up towards the front, you got to wait. You got to hang on here. And that's, unfortunately, that's the name of the game at this point. You just got to be aware of what's going around. You keep thinking of the plans and have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C if this thing is to go green from here, which it may or may not. You never know. But, you know, if you're in the back, well, you might as well try to leapfrog a couple, try to do a couple things. But if you're up towards the front, you got to hang.
If I'm running 8th or 10th, I'm going to be on my radio telling the spotter, let's go. Get some of these boys to line up and let's make a move.
Does Justin Allgaier have a plan, Regan?
Well, he doesn't have a plan yet, Adam, but he does have a small vibration. They think it's just a simple wheel weight that's fallen off. The team's not concerned about it, but my question for Joey is, Joey, how aggravating is that when you're in the car and you know you're going this fast that you have any vibration at all?
It goes through your mind constantly. You think, okay, I got this vibration. You hope it's just a wheel weight. Maybe if it's something more, hopefully a tire's not coming apart or your motor, whatever it may be. So you just, as long as the vibration stays the same, after about 5 or 6 laps, you go, okay, it's something that's okay. But if it keeps getting worse, maybe it's a loose wheel, things like that, and you better pit before it gets really bad for you. And in this case, you would take a bunch with you.
There's a car to the bottom, Chase Elliott. We've seen that all day long, trying to get some guys to gang up and go with him. You can't win from back there.
You got to get closer. That's what Chase is doing, and it's smart. You know, and he's gone for it since the duels and the clash, and he's still going for it.
I don't want to run 11th or 12th at Daytona. I want that trophy. That's what Chase Elliott is saying, and he's trying to show his buddies, come on, let's make some moves.
That is one car you can count on Chase Elliott going with you if you go to the bottom. He is going to take every run he's got.
Down to 26 laps remaining. When will the aggression rate pick up? We'll find out next. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series live on FS1.
strategy in the closing laps would be to hope to be second, because normally first doesn't work out too good.
You know, everybody's usually really, really tight, and when it gets down to being 3 lanes wide, about 10 cars deep, and you know that you got to make a move for the win, that's the most challenging time of the race.
Just try to put yourself in the right spot. I think that's the only thing you can do. You know, you just hope and pray that cars around you will help you, and at the end of the day, you come out on top.
Hearing from 3 drivers there that could very well be a player at the end of this one, down to 22 laps remaining. Michael Annett out front. He's led 23 laps today. Prior to this, the most laps he had ever led in an entire season, 16, back in 2011. What a career afternoon it's been for the kid out of Des Moines, Iowa. Can he hang on? Long way to go.
You know, these super speedways, they bring out sometimes those a different winner that you may not normally see, and maybe a first-time winner. You see that a lot at these super speedways, and it presents a lot of opportunity for some of these guys to really take advantage. We see that in the Cup level. We see it here in the Xfinity level.
And you can see Justin Allgaier is just licking his chops. He knows he's in a good spot. If this race runs out all the way to about 2 to go, I think he's happy just riding right there. And I get it. I like that position, and along with Brandon Jones. But you get on back 10th, 12th, where Chase Elliott rides, we gotta figure something out. And I know there's conversations going on back and forth to the spotter right now about that very subject.
What do you say about it, Matt?
Well, Eddie DeHunt, Chase Elliott's spotter, keeps telling him he's trying to make something happen on top of the spotter stand. Right now, no one wants to go to the inside. He's hoping that with 10 to go, they can get a line on the bottom to develop.
Man, I appreciate that, Matt. I've been wondering when it was going to happen. We're going to look for it. 10 to go. They're going to go to the bottom.
Another driver to watch down the stretch, Jeffrey Earnhardt. Led laps early, 8th right now, Jamie.
Another driver having a career day. He started second, the best ever. This is his 67th Xfinity Series start, but already he's led 29 laps, the most in the race, and he's doing it all with a very personalized helmet. He saw a picture of his late great-grandfather, Dale Earnhardt, and he loved the picture so much he bought that magazine on eBay. There it is right there. Just a goat on his horse. He said it's tribute to his grandfather. He likes to do something like that every year. Well, it's working out for him today, maybe bringing him a little luck.
Yeah, he knows all about this place. The all-time wins leader when it comes to Xfinity competition at Daytona. He's won here 7 times. Won the Daytona 500 in 1998, did Dale Earnhardt.
Stay in line, I'll let you know. I got a plan with a couple behind us.
There you go.
If I'm the driver, I'm like, could you let me know what that plan is? so I can get ready to work with you on this one? Don't tease me, all right?
Okay, thanks.
Is it me, or does every lap that goes by, every time they come across that start-finish line, the anxiety builds just a little bit with the anticipation of what's to come?
And it will. Like they say right now, you're working with other people. You're trying to find a plan. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's the lap we're going to do it on. And then you're going to start trying to find the run to be able to make it the most out of it when you make that run. But as you get closer and closer to the end, especially the last 10 laps, anytime I hear my spotter say 10 to go, I'm like, okay, it's getting really close. And then I have them count me down every lap. I need to know because that lap number is so important to when you make this move.
And there's some potent cars back there. We know how fast Team Penske is with Cindric in the 22. Ryan Sieg with his new equipment that they acquired from Richard Childress Racing. Just so many great stories of fast cars toward the front.
And as you run in this single file line, it may look like they're just riding in line. There's a lot going on inside the car. The cars aren't handling quite perfectly. You still got to drive them some. You got to work the gaps around you. You're working the throttle, working the brake, making sure you don't get too close, too far back. And also you're trying to think of these plans all at the same time. So there is quite a bit going on right now.
Regan, what do you hear on strategy?
Well, guys, hearing a lot of chatter. The further back in the pack, obviously, the sooner guys want to go. Some teammates and some non-teammates are starting to formulate plans. The 7 car, though, was just told that 19 is going to wait until 2 to go. I'm a little curious as to why the 19 would let them know that, though, with 2 teammates out in front of him.
Well, that might not be the truth, Regan. Might be sending mixed signals to the gang around you, but really not a lot of help right now for Brandon Jones. He doesn't have a Toyota, any other Toyotas in the whole top 10. Closest one running to him is 13th, Christopher Bell, so he better be formulating a plan, and hopefully it'll be a surprise attack.
How much does the teammate thing factor in right now?
Oh, the teammate thing's a huge deal. It's a really big deal. That's the one person that you think you can trust, you know, and depending on how close you are with that teammate, whether you're going to trust them or not.
Ross Chastain led 23 laps today, won stage 2. He's 7th right now.
All right, man, with 10 to go, I ain't got to worry about saving no fuel, right? Oh, no. All you got to worry about is getting that second flag. And I'm going to try.
That's Brett Griffin, the spotter up on the roof. Those spotters act like they're driving the car. He wants to win this race. I got enough gas to win it, right? And he was given the thumbs up. Just go do your job. Get our boy to victory lane.
There's been times I tell TJ Majors, my spotter, I just say, drive the car. What you see, tell me where to go. Sometimes don't even put it in my hands. If you can see so much more, then you just tell me what to do to stay out of the way. There's Chase Elliott again. Of course he's down there giving it another shot.
I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Chase Elliott every time he dives to the bottom. He's not going to win back there riding at the end of this line. He knows it. He's just hoping when he makes that move to the bottom, someone will go with him.
And as you talk about these plans that are happening right now, you know, a lot of them you don't want to communicate over the radio. You don't want the cars around you to know what the game plan is. So sometimes the driver is in the dark of what the plan's going to be, and the spotters and crew chiefs they're working together. Maybe crew chiefs are texting each other back and forth from pit box to pit box. Those things are happening right now, and saying, okay, we're going to go on this lap, and you're going to go with me. And you know, if you say that over the radio, you kind of let everyone know what you're doing. You want to be a surprise attack when you make this happen.
Down to 14 laps to go, and Michael Annett now holds the distinction of most laps led today, out front for 31 circuits. Quick look at Justin Haley there. Had those pit problems earlier. Back in 19th, he won our opening stage. And now a little help for Chase Elliott. Christopher Bell drops down in front of him. Perhaps they can draft together using that low lane. The night of Noah Gragson there as well.
But then Bell right back up the high side and dumps his buddies. Making a little bit of progress, but Bell decided that he needed to tuck in line, and here he goes again.
Looks like he was just recharging his run, getting that draft off the car on the top side, and then going back to the bottom again. Whoa.
What a nice move. That looked like Joey Logano on Thursday in the duel.
Oh, did you see how close that was? About crashed those cars. Oh, man, it's definitely, you feel it's ratcheting up right now as we're getting closer and closer to this end of the race here, that the bumping and banging and the blocks are going to be very aggressive.
Saw that 23 car there, John Hunter Nemechek driving for GMS in 2019. That car won at Talladega last spring with Spencer Gallagher behind the wheel, and John Hunter's father, Joe, won here at Daytona a couple of times, including this spring race many years ago. 12 remaining. Michael Annett out front. Allgaier, Jones, Sieg, and Cindric, your top 5. Behind them, Jeff Green, Ross Chastain, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Cole Custer, and Chase Briscoe, the top 10. This is an interesting group as they ride the rim, coming back to 11 remaining.
And what's interesting right now is Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott are the two best teammates right now. There's no relation at all, but those two have the same mindset that they got to get closer to the front, and the only way they're going to do it is work together. They know they have two fast race cars, maybe the fastest cars on the racetrack. They got to be able to work together to make it happen. Here you see Christopher Bell laying back to Chase, and then they're going to make a run down the straightaway, maybe make a move into turn 3.
I bet they pop out down here. They had a nice gap there.
And a reminder from NASCAR has been given to these teams: do not lock bumpers. Really haven't seen much of that today, but this is the stage where you got to be watching it.
And the teams need those friendly reminders because you're frustrated. You haven't been able to make any moves. You get on the back of a guy, you're probably going to want to lock onto him. It's not allowed.
Now here's a problem. So Christopher Bell was able to make a pass and get back up in line, and there was no hole for Chase to get back up in line until a few spots back. So he lost a couple chases, or Christopher Bell's up a little bit more, you know, in the line there. So sometimes you get separated when you make these moves if there's not a hole to get back in.
And if you're Michael Annett, you're having a career day, right? Led a lot of laps. He better be ready to do the blocking of his life. That's how he's going to win this race.
What a day for Cole Custer. From the back of the field, to ninth and getting anxious in the closing stages, Regan?
Well, he's getting very anxious, Adam. He keeps saying, I'm ready to go, but his spotter told him they're not. So he's been hanging out on the top side still. The same thing for everybody, just hanging out on the top.
Under 10 left here at Daytona as they come back across the start-finish line. You made that last lap move in the dual Thursday night. How long were you planning that? What was the organizational process of making that happen?
For about 30 laps. You're thinking about it, and you're just trying to hear everything your spotter's telling you, and when you're going to make that move, and you're just trying to imagine who's around you, who's the driver tendencies that typically make these type of moves, and I had my teammate Ryan Blaney behind me, who's the best teammate to have around, and that really helped.
That was Bell and Briscoe pulling out a line. They slide back up. Tyler Reddick in that gold car trying to make it happen to the deuce. Gregson behind him. We're starting to see some action with 8 remaining.
Look at that move. Nice job by Reddick to get back up in line.
The problem is they're all just shuffling between each other. If they just commit to each other and maybe go down to the bottom, they might have a shot. But right now they're going down or grabbing a spot, and then they're sneaking back in, and then the same cars are passing each other. If they can just commit to each other and just work that bottom lane and then work that side draft, it could work much better.
Here we go. Bell with a big move to the bottom. He's got Briscoe with him.
See, he gets right back up.
That means that Bell cares only about Bell right now. He loves Chase Briscoe. I'm sure they're both dirt racers from the Midwest, but he needed that spot and he took it.
And he's just trying to grab them one at a time, and that works really well until you don't get back up and you go all the way back to zero to the back of this pack.
Junior Motorsports 1-2 right now. All 4 of their drivers in the mixed late. They've won 5 of the last 10 at the World Center of Racing, including NASCAR's closest ever finish a season ago. Tyler Reddick edging his teammate by 4/10,000ths of a second.
This is so frustrating as a driver. You're just like, can someone just stick with me so we can really make this happen? Instead, everyone's just knifing each other instead of really sticking together and working as teammates.
John Hunter Nemechek and Tyler Reddick together on the bottom. And up to the top goes Reddick.
2 young Chevy drivers, perhaps thinking about working together. Reddick
Look
back
how
in
tight
line.
things are, guys. They're really starting to push and shove. Getting back up in line will probably trigger a problem before we're done.
How much pressure on Annette now? 6 to go. He's got the lead and gotta be glued to that rear view mirror.
Your heart rate is going. You're staring in the rear view mirror. At this point, I don't even look forward. I'm looking in the back. If Justin Allgaier was to hit the wall, I'm going to hit the wall. I am looking at where that car is going.
Jeffrey Earnhardt, you talked about the pressure on Annette. Think about Earnhardt. He's in this Joe Gibbs ride. He's having a great run. He wants to make some moves. Does he have the experience, the knowledge to make a move successfully?
But we just saw right there, Tyler Reddick didn't find a hole to get back in, all the way back to the back.
Regan told us
the risk.
Cole Custer ready to go. He pulls out a line. No help. He's hung out to dry. 5 remaining at Daytona. Annette continues to lead. Then it's Allgaier, Jones, Sieg, and Cindric. The top 5 have not changed in the last 30 laps, I believe.
And I think what we see here is all these plans that everyone was talking about, we're going to go down together. Nobody listened. Nobody paid attention. They all were out for their own good.
The only people not getting on my nerves right now, Adam, are the top 5. I think they all got a shot to win, but if you're much past that, you've got to go.
Here we go. Ross Chastain pulling out a line down to the inside of Austin Cindric. Will he get any help? There's Jeffrey Earnhardt. Tyler Reddick going down there as well. 4 to go this time by.
And I think what we saw there is Austin Cindric backing up a little bit, which caused a lot of this chaos we see back here. He's trying to play with the run a little bit and seeing how he can time it as well. So I think everyone's really thinking about this right now as we come down to the last few laps. I think the move's going to happen on the last lap. I don't think it happens sooner than that. It may, but I don't believe so.
And I think that's spotter Josh Williams telling Cindric we need to try to make some gaps and make a situation where we can get moves. Spotters are very key right now in coaching, especially these young drivers.
We've had 12 last lap passes here. That's the most of any track. You saw the graphic a moment ago. And things are starting to get interesting. That's Chase Briscoe out of line in the 98. 3 remaining. It's all on the line here at Daytona.
Now it's 3 to go.
And the hardest
We're
part
in the
is when
ball
you
game.
feel like you
That's
have a
good catch
run,
there. 3 more.
but you know it's too early to use it. You're like,
You're
I
clear,
can't use
no
it yet.
clear.
That part's tough.
This is a high-speed
93,
chess
Jeff
match.
Green, 23, 9. No room right now. 1.5 up.
My eyes back here, they're at Austin Cindric and Christopher Bell. Those two cars I know are fast. Oh, we got a car on the wall here.
Into the
Looks like
wall.
maybe right front.
Caesar Baccarella, that's the 90. Will there be debris enough to bring out a caution? So far, we stay green. We'll see 2 laps to go, and they come by this time.
And look how that spread out the pack, right? Everybody's got a lot more distance. The runs are gonna, when they get to them, the runs are gonna be bigger now.
Looks like Bell's got a nice gap there behind Cindric. We got to watch that area of this draft.
If you wait till the last lap, where is the best place to make your move?
Well, I can't tell you that, but we'll see here in a couple.
Look at that pair there. They've got a nice tandem. Is that enough to get them to dive to the bottom? We're coming to the white.
That's Bell and Cindric. Crashed out together 10 laps in last year. Could they work together this season to make their way to the checkered flag? 44 laps led this afternoon for Michael Annett. He's hoping to lead one more. White flag is out. It's 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Now, how committed is Justin Allgaier to his teammate? Does he try to make the pass for the win?
He's got a nice little gap there. I believe he's poised to make that move, Joey.
Yeah, he's definitely just backed up. He's going to see a big run here from Justin Allgaier. It's going to be up to Annett to make a big block here.
Closing on you fast. Halfback, watch
To 3 and 4 for the final time.
Nice block by Annett.
It's all on the line at Daytona. Down low, Christopher Bell all by himself. Side draft off to Ryan Sieg. Here they come through the trioval. Annett going side to side. He's blocking. Here is the checkered flag. Michael Annett, first career victory. It comes at Daytona.
How about that?
Nothing like your first win.
No, there isn't. And
Awesome job, guys. Awesome.
you talked about going to the gym and camaraderie with your team and having to put those perfect blocks on Adam. He did everything textbook on those last couple of laps.
And right now he's feeling so relieved. His heart was going so fast through the last 10 laps or so, and to finally see that checkered flag after leading that many laps. The last thing you want is to lead a ton of laps and then get pastored at the end, where Michael Annett did a good job making those blocks on Justin Allgaier, where I thought Justin was going to have a big enough run to maybe pull out and make something happen, but they just weren't quite timed good enough.
And you got to give Allgaier a lot of credit. He put himself in a position to make that run. He was there, but Annett was perfect on the last lap.
6th time in the last 11 races at Daytona that Junior Motorsports has gone to victory lane, and after heartbreak for that one team a season ago, they win it today.
Man, guys, sorry. I tried. Heck of a job by Michael there, man. That's cool for them. They needed that. That's so cool for them.
Annett missed the playoffs last year. He had to live with that the entire offseason, and he opens up 2019 with a victory. He knows he's postseason eligible, and more importantly, his first career win comes at the most historic place, Daytona International Speedway, and now the celebration to follow.
Now, not a ton of practice at the post-race burnouts, right?
It takes a little bit to figure out the burnout, right? That's a big piece of this, though.
That's right.
You know, he grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, and his dad owned sprint cars. Always had the #1 for Sammy Swindell. And the other day, Michael told me growing up, it was my dream to drive that one car. And it became a reality in the off-season. First time out, he's able to take it to victory lane.
And this is the moment you always dream about, winning in Daytona for your first win after so many years of trying to stand on top of your car in front of this awesome crowd. That feels so good.
And what about last night? Austin Hill was able to do the same thing that Michael Annett is doing now, get that first win at Daytona. That's going to be a popular victory in the garage area. Junior Motorsports means so much to this series. Congratulations to Dale Jr. and Michael Annett.
Let's look at it one more time. Michael Annett able to hold him off, and a great rally coming from his teammate Justin Allgaier. Career day for Michael Annett. He wins it here at Daytona. Next on our to-do list here at Daytona, the 500 tomorrow, because Xfinity competition is all over. And the day belongs to Michael Annett. His first career victory comes on the big stage at the World Center of Racing. And for the second time in his career, his teammate Justin Allgaier is a runner-up. 32 years old, over 200 starts at this level, and finally he gets to hold that checkered flag.
What about the proud owner there?
Yeah, Dale Jr. in victory lane with the crew. Let's hear from the winner. Michael Annett climbing out now, Regan.
Michael Annett climbs out for the first time in his NASCAR Xfinity Series career. He is a winner. The Gatorade is flowing. Michael, 230 starts in this series. You picked Daytona to get your first win. How does it feel?
This is amazing. Yeah, I've counted all of them. Those are my first words. Was kind of 8 years. My 8 years in the series. This is amazing. I couldn't do it without these guys. They've stuck with me through the hard times when everybody counts us out. Wonders why I get to drive this car, and I think we showed it today. They worked their tails off on this American Heart Association Pilot Flying J1 car. We got the one in victory lane. Our slogan this year is one team, one dream, one goal. This was one of them, so we're starting off good.
Your spotter, Jason Jarrett, coached you through that entire last lap. We saw you come off at turn 4, start to go low, and pull the car right back up to the top of the racetrack. What was he telling you at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I was just I was waiting for that second line to get formed. I know they tried. It just wasn't there. When it hadn't formed with about 3 to go, I knew they weren't going to have enough steam to get us, so I was just worried about my teammate. If you're going to have someone back there, I knew Justin was going to be the best one. Even though he's aggressive, I knew he was going to push hard, but I knew he was going to go for it. So just had to keep him in our mirror and keep the gap right. But yeah, Jason did a great job on the roof. Not the first time, my second year in the series we worked together, and here we are now. So he did a great job, and I hadn't been in that position very much, so I need some coaching.
Michael Annett gets his first career win on the biggest stage there is. Matt?
Justin Allgaier, his teammate, you gave it a shot a couple different times, but it was almost like deja vu for you and your teammate.
Yeah, I followed Michael here a few years ago for an ARCA race, and I remember seeing that Pilot Flying J on the back bumper, and I couldn't beat him then, and I couldn't do it today. We tried really hard there at the end. First of all, hats off to everybody back in Junior Motorsports. To see a car that was that strong, all of us, all 4 of our Camaro SSs were really strong today. To see Michael get his first win, he's tried so hard, and to see the effort and time that he's put into it, especially this off season, it's really, really cool. So we had a really good Brand Professional Agriculture Camaro today. I was disappointed I couldn't make a run, but man, a great way to start the season. To come out of year second, to gain some valuable points, and to just do what we needed to do. We had great pit stops. We did everything right today. We just couldn't generate enough of a run at the end.
So you're wearing a sport watch which records your heart rate. What was the highest near at the end?
I would say it was pretty high at some points there, especially some of those restarts. But right there at the end, it was only like 135. So I had, I think, probably more frustration than blood pressure was going on at the end, not being able to generate that run. But I felt like the race today was fairly calm, which I was really surprised at. I felt like the cars were stable enough that I felt like guys were going to be able to move around a lot more, and unfortunately we just weren't able to. So we'll go back to the drawing board. I'm sure when we get to Talladega with this package, we're going to be crazy again. But again, hats off to Michael, that whole one team. There's a lot of guys on that team that this really means a lot to them, and not that it doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but there's a lot of guys that have put a lot of heart and soul in. It's cool to see those guys go to victory lane.
Thanks, Justin. Jamie?
Well, we talked about it, the Toyota Supra making its debut today. They bring it home. Third is the best spot for them, Brandon Jones. And you got out smiling a lot, and you guys are talking about it. But what do you think was that phenomenon with you guys all single file running up at the top? What led to it?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. It's the first time I probably haven't been in an infield carrier in a while here, so a third was great, and I got some stage points out of the whole deal too. So all in all, a phenomenal day for us for Team Toyota. The Supra looked great, it drove great. Juniper also on the car, Wiley X coming on board with us this year as well. So it was just a weird day, really, honestly. It was so hard to get a pack to form, and it was just kind of follow the leader a little bit. I think something to do with everybody running the top the way they were. It was really hard to get offset to a car and really use the draft to our advantage. I was hoping with that big swipe the 5 did at the end that was going to be what we needed for the 7 and myself to get going. It just didn't happen for us. So that's a good building block. We can go back to the shop and build off that and not have to rebuild the car now. So that's a great way to start Speed Weeks.
Brandon Jones' best finish at Daytona. Regan?
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. down here celebrating with his guys. Dale, you seem to be making quite the habit of your race cars finishing not only 1-2 at Daytona, but winning at Daytona. How rewarding is it for you to see this one car in victory lane?
Big time. A lot of people have been down on Michael Annett for a while, and this reminds me of an Earnhardt giving Michael a chance years ago to show his potential. And the story, I guess, is that Michael feels like he's got a really good chance at seeing some of the best days of his career this season. Part of that is Travis Mack. Travis was a car chief for me for many years. Went to crew chief with Chase Elliott at the 95 car on the Cup level, was released from that job, and as soon as that happened, I was thinking, I need him here with Michael Annett, and that combination would be great. And so we're seeing the results of that today. I'm just extremely happy for Travis Mack. It's been a tough road for him, equally tough road for Michael Annett. It's a day of redemption for both those guys.
Thanks, Dale.
How about Junior? He's won here 6 times as a driver. His first win in the Xfinity Series at Daytona coming here in 2002. It was February 16th. And today, the spotlight belongs to his driver, Michael Annett. What a way to start 2019 for the kid out of Des Moines, Iowa. And he'll be celebrating with a trophy and the checkered flag all night long.